This is part two of a two-part Bravo Weekly News episode. If you're looking for part one, just check back on your podcast feed. On part one, I covered Real Housewives of Orange County and Real Housewives of Miami only because there was a lot of news for those two shows. And on this part, I'm covering Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, The Valley, Summer House, some general Bravo news, Real Housewives of Atlanta. What else? What did I forget? And Salt Lake City, of course. Oh my God, Salt Lake City. And they are coming back soon. So the news for Salt Lake City is just going to keep coming and coming. And listen, we love that for all of us. So enjoy today's episode and don't forget part one. Welcome to the Bravo Papers, a safe space for all us Bravo fans who love to analyze, deconstruct, and talk about our favorite Bravo shows ad nauseum. So join me, Bravo and Botox, and we'll catch up on all the Bravo news and read way too much into our favorite shows and Bravo celebrities. Okay, so let's get into the Valley because, yeah, the Valley is over, but there is still Valley news, as you know, this Valley cast is never short on drama, hence why they have a TV show. Hang on, let me just scroll to my Valley news. Oh, yes, here we go. So, Danny Boko is being a little bit active on the Instagram after the reunion in, defending himself basically. So there was a tweet from at Bravo Breaking News, and it said Janet and Jason really made their whole storyline about taking down Danny and Nia, only to have them end up being the fan favorites. So Danny shared this to his Instagram story, and then he wrote, or sorry, he didn't share this. Sorry. Someone, Joshua_Jacob shared it to their Instagram story. Sorry, this is a lot of Instagram sharing. And they wrote, Janet and Jason are so jealous of Danny and Nia. Imagine going so hard for two people that the entire audience is rooting for. Get the fuck out of here. LOL. So then Danny Instagram storied. Is that sorry? Danny shared that on his Instagram story, is what I'm trying to say. So he reshared that. So, he's taking shots. And then Danny shared another story from at lovelie.a. And it says, and they had added to the same kind of Instagram story. They wrote more. They wrote that part. Like, what a horrible couple. I can't stand them. No one could ever make me dislike Danny Boko and Nia Sanchez. They tagged, this person tagged them. Jason and Janet should take some notes on how to actually be a power couple. Okay, so shots fired. And then Danny also liked this comment on IG, and the person who made the comment has been blacked out, so I can't see who it is because I got this from at Vanderpod Recaps. They said Brittany was definitely behind the Danny and Nia attacks this season. Okay. I mean, I would say that too. So I like that Danny's acknowledging. She's been in Janet and Jax's ear. She knew they would do. I have to make this bigger, guys. I forgot to put on my reading glasses. Give me a sec. Okay. She knew that they would do her dirty work for her so she could sit back and look sweet and innocent, just like how she completely threw her best friend under the bus. She's been best friends with Zach for 17 years, and she ran back to Janet and told Zach what he said when he was blackout drunk, knowing dang well he didn't mean what he said and that he wouldn't remember it. She's a lot more like Jax than everyone realizes, and if there's a season 3, people are going to see it because she no longer has Jax doing her dirty work. Maybe Janet will smarten up and realize that Brittany is using her to do all her nasty work for her. Brittany is very jealous of Danny and Nia. She doesn't like that the producers give them a good edit and that they are fan favorites. Okay. I agree with most of this, if I'm going to be honest. The only thing I don't agree with is the whole like Jax doing Brittany's dirty work. I think that Jax and Brittany maybe agreed about certain things and they both were like, like I think they both agreed with what's it called? Danny and Nia like getting a good edit, and they were both jealous about that, and they both kind of planned that they both planted those seeds together. But do I think that Brittany is like the sole mastermind and that, when Jack's going after Danny and like all that kind of stuff is like all Brittany's fault and she put him up to it? No. Because Jax will do this stuff. He's always done this stuff. Like I could find examples of it from before Brittany was even on the show. Like I'm not going to allow any excuses for Jack's behavior. We're past that point. Like we are just so past that point. So I'm not going to be allowing that. But that being said, do I think that Brittany agreed with Jax in this case and was just as like annoyed with Danny and Nia and all that kind of stuff? Yeah. And I think she's just as jealous. And I think Jax would do it because he wants heat off of him. And he also just knows that's part of making a good show. I think Brittany would do it, but for different, I think she would want to take them down because she wants to be the head bitch in charge. She's jealous of Nia for a list of reasons. And I think she's kind of insecure. And we could see why. She has, her life is falling apart. So why wouldn't she be jealous of Nia? And she has a husband who's calling her like ugly and fat and all these other things. So her insecurity is there. There's no like literally there's no denying that. Um but yeah, so overall though I agree. I do agree that she plays dumb and innocent and I think she is a lot of the reason that people are going after them. I think she's totally chirping in people's ear and as I've been pointing out on my recaps, I do think that she is the one because this has come up on the after show and I talked about this in depth, but she is the one who's causing the fights between her own friends. Like the reason Zach and Janet and Kristen can't make up, a lot of that is Brittany's fault, and she doesn't take any accountability for it. So yeah. Meanwhile, things are not getting better for Jax since the reunion ended because the U.S. Sun has released a story. The headline is Work in Progress. Jax Taylor loved bomb, had sex with, then discarded several female employees at his LA bar before he was fired. Multiple women claimed he would not wear protection, but always offered to buy Plan B. I mean, is that shocking? Like, that is the most Jax thing I've ever heard. Like, Jax will be like, I'll get you Plan B or like an abortion before he'll like wear protect. Like that is just so Jax. I'm sorry. It's like he's so gross. Okay. He's so annoying. I can't stand him. Beyond annoying. He's just terrible. So basically, a quick summary of the article. Thank you at Bywig Hello Drama. Jax has been accused of love bombing and sleeping with multiple employees at his bar, with several speaking to the U.S. Sun about their experiences. They allege that Jax used his power and charm to manipulate them while keeping everything a secret. One employee claimed, quote, "I thought I was the only one he slept with, but after everything ended, I've just found out the same things. I just found out he told the same thing and used the same tricks on a few of us. He would make me believe he would never risk breaking the rules for anyone else but me." Oh, God. Everyone who worked at that bar should have had to sit down and watch all 10 seasons of Vanderpump Rules before working there. And if they did and they still fell for it, I can't give you that much sympathy. But that being said, I'm still on your side over Jax Taylor because he 100% would use his fame and his clout, his stardom, whatever you want to call it, to, but again, it's like, he's married, like Brittany's involved in the bar. Like, listen, it's Jax's fault. He's the one who's married. But like, Danny's right. He's a piece of shit. Okay. Okay, where was I? He would make me believe. Okay. Multiple women also allege that Jax did not use protection but offered to buy Plan B afterward. Another woman who said he DM'd her on Instagram recalled he was extremely sexual right from the first few minutes of the conversation. He made plans instantly, talked about our future. We would text all day long, and he was immediately so vulnerable and open with me. He'd say the kindest things and love bomb me day in and day out. Of course, that's how he gets everyone. That's how he maintained his relationship with Brittany. He takes you on a roller coaster ride, tells you everything you want to hear, like, and like shares all this, like, I'm broken, I need help, I'm a work in progress, that we've been watching forever. Later, she learned she wasn't the only one. Quote, he tells every woman he's with that she's the only one he's sleeping with, but it's always a lie. He always has a roster of women. He has a system he's perfected like clockwork over the years to distract from the fact that he's a liar. I mean, yeah, I could have told you that as well. Several women describe receiving identical texts, gifts, and even Jax's bar merch. Of course, he gave them Jax's bar merch. You think he's spending money on you? Because he's not, okay? Trust me. It's all free shit that he gets. Probably all the other gifts are like promo stuff that he's gotten from like advertisers and sponsors from the podcast. Like, trust me, he didn't spend a dime, okay, on you. He's any leftover money he had was going to drugs and alcohol. Um, Okay. He would ask them to send sexier pictures. They claim the relationship always ended the same with sudden paranoia and misplaced blame. One source added he is hiding behind his divorce being finalized to keep all of us women silent and under the radar. It's manipulative and a terrible way to treat people. All right. Good. I'm glad Jax is getting his comeuppance. And I'm glad, look, you know, spill all the tea. I think the thing is that there's no news or tea about Jax that will shock any Bravo fan. Like anyone that's been watching Vanderpump Rules and The Valley for all these years, like we all know this. We all know Jax is a piece of shit. We all like I always just assumed Jax was cheating on Brittany their entire marriage. Like that was just my like resting assumption because like it's Jax. And I think anyone who believed that he was like reformed and like a wonderful person is like was maybe a bit naive, was definitely naive or just like just didn't want to see it because maybe we just enjoyed having him on TV. So we were just kind of like whatever. And I think we could all kind of like be like, yeah, Jax cheats. It's Jax. Like that's like Brittany's like an idiot at this point for like putting up with it. But when it got to the point of being like abuse, like physical abuse, emotional, mental, like when it got to that point, that was when fans were like, okay, like we can't like this show, this series, this spinoff is built on cheating. That's like literally since season one. Okay. And yes, cheating's wrong, but you know, it's not at the level of like you're physically hurting someone, you know. So that's why I think fans stood up. So that's why when people come out with these like shocking Jax cheating story, like I just can't have the same reaction to it as I would if I found out like, I don't know, some like guy who we thought was like a really good guy and husband. It'd be like if we found out like one of our favorite husbands who like seems great and da da da. I can think of like maybe one or two examples because there aren't that many of them in the Bravo world. I don't even want to speak it because I don't want it to come true. But if we found out one of them, yes, that would be, and that was kind of, to be honest, how people felt about Tom Sandoval. Like people really felt like him, as much as you might want to say now, like, no, I always knew he was a piece of shit, like, da da da. I never liked him because I thought he was annoying and a know-it-all, and I found him to be misogynistic. But I didn't think he was like cheating left, right, and center. I'll admit that. I think him and Ariana seemed like they had a pretty good relationship and stuff, and that they seemed like a good couple. So that was why everyone had such a big reaction. Okay. So Jax has also been removed from the BravoCon lineup. No surprise there. Like, there's just no way you're gonna have him at BravoCon this year, trying to have sex with whoever he can. It's just like keep him away. Okay, trying to love bomb and have sex with probably everybody. Meanwhile, what else we got? Jasmine Good is calling out Nick Viall for being a clout chaser after he said that their past Bachelor moment made him uncomfortable. So I happen to know about this Bachelor moment because I used to be a big Bachelor fan. I stopped watching it around 2020, maybe a little bit before the pandemic. But what I will say is that I did watch Nick Viall season. I was heavily invested back then. Okay. And that was when Bachelor was like at its peak. And I think it's kind of gone downhill from there. But I don't know. I'm not in that world anymore. But what I will say is that her moment on The Bachelor with Nick was extremely cringe. Okay. And again, I don't know. Maybe Jasmine was going through some shit. Like, I don't know what was going on. Okay. But basically, the long and short of it is that she was pretty wasted on camera. And then she kinda makes, like, a joke about, like, choking him, and then she kinda, like, starts to put her hands around his neck, and he clearly doesn't wanna be touched and feels uncomfortable, and it's a cringe moment. And because, of the whole Danny discussion this season on The Valley, it's been brought up. Like, people have been like I guess people have kind of been like, people make mistakes when they're drunk, and and I don't like this. Like, I don't like, bringing up what Jasmine did to kind of, like, excuse Danny, because it doesn't. They're both wrong. They both shouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? But I guess what people were trying to say is that, like, well, Jasmine would want forgiveness, like, she's also made a mistake while drunk, so, like, maybe they could forgive Dan, like, I guess that's the argument people were making. I didn't see any reason to, like, bring this back up, but it was brought back up, okay? So that's the point. And basically, Nick Viall interviewed Janet, and they talked about this whole moment. Of course, it was with Janet. And basically, Nick said, I would love an apology from Jasmine. I'm still triggered, referring to her appearance on The Bachelor season. So it was like, it was a group date. Jasmine confronted him about not getting a one on one, put her hands on his throat, said she wanted to put him in a chokey. All jokes aside of the Jasmine strangling me and things that did make me uncomfortable, there was a blackout moment. Like, I guess he's saying, like, it seemed like Jasmine was blackout drunk. And then, he talks about the Valley giving kind of like the Danny incident so much attention, and said it seems like it's getting a whole lot of attention versus some of the atrocities of some of these other castmates. So I guess that's kind of like you know, the the shade towards Jasmine. And then in response to that, Jasmine said Nick is a clout chaser. He wants attention. Well, yeah, I mean, that's his job. Like, I do kind of think his job is to get attention for his podcast. So he is going to bring up whatever everyone's talking about to get, and I'm not saying that's, I'm not a fan of Nick Viall, but like, yeah, duh. Like, it's kind of like a duh comeback. But again, what else is she going to say? Because she knows she was in the wrong in that situation. I guess she could say sorry. maybe, maybe she could have said, you know what? I was wrong and I shouldn't have done that. Just like Danny shouldn't have done what he did. And we both have an apology to make. That would be probably the best thing to say. Jesse Lawley's girlfriend, meanwhile, her name is Lacey Nicole. She has denied filing a lawsuit against Michelle after this was discussed at the reunion, and wants videos released. So basically, she says, I never threatened anything legal to Michelle after this night. I'm assuming the night is like the night that she came to the filming that Andy was talking about, I think. I was never suing her. She didn't have a lawyer. I sent her and only her one letter in June regarding a statement she filmed saying I endangered kids. Okay. I don't remember Michelle saying that she endangered kids, but maybe because of that, maybe it wasn't included on the show. That could be a thing. As per Lacey, Michelle's drunk boyfriend grabbed me and left. That's what happened. Okay. Okay. So I guess she's saying Aaron grabbed her and left, and that's what happened. I'm going to need more context to this. Okay. That's kind of like, you know, those are kind of like the basics of it, but I do think the video needs to be released. Listen, I'm with you, Lacey. We all want it, which is why you should have signed a fucking release, like Andy said, and then we could have seen that scene and it could have been part of the season, and that would have been an even better season finale than just Jax yelling at Danny. Like, give me a break. So yeah, I'm with her. Release the video. Okay? I mean, it's like too little, too late. This woman needs to just film next season, okay? You need to just film. I understand her hesitancy and like, you know, oh, like, what if I get a bad edit, blah, blah, blah. But like, it's better to, it's like when you're not there, everyone's speaking for, I sound like Andy now, trying to like manipulate somebody into joining the show. You shouldn't leave the reunion. You got to tell your side. Like, I've turned into that. Okay. Meanwhile, Time Magazine has put out a story and says that Jax Taylor's departure isn't enough. It's time to put the Valley out of its misery. I talked about this a little on on either my Valley recap or the last news, but like, who is Time Magazine? Nobody asked for your opinion. Like, I know who they are, guys. I'm being sarcastic, but like, get the fuck out of here. Like, we don't. And why are you all of a sudden like just because it's the Valley? We've had just as controversial things happen on Real Housewives of Atlanta, Beverly Hills. There was a domestic violence thing where like Taylor's husband like committed suicide. Like, why now are you calling for like, I don't know, just get out of here. Nobody wants your opinion. Okay. Now people are also speculating, back to Jax, people are speculating that he is no longer being represented by Lori Kay. So we all know of Lori Kay as like Jax's publicist. You know, there's a picture of him and her in Montreal at one point, like, you know, kind of during the scandal of it all. And, you know, they have unfollowed each other, and Jax no longer has it in his bio because I guess he had that in his bio. So maybe now that he's fired off the show and she couldn't save his spot, maybe he's not useful to her anymore. Maybe he's just going without a publicist because he can't afford it. I don't know. I mean, no one needs a publicist more than Jax, but at the same time, having a publicist for Jax is kind of useless because he sinks himself no matter what. It doesn't seem like she was ever that good at it. I don't know. This is hardly an advertisement for her because I think everything Jax did was like not what I would advise him to do. But okay. All right. So, anyways, I guess they're kaput. So it's not the only thing. Everything in Jack's life is crumbling, and we love to see it. Okay. What else do I got for you guys from the Valley? We have one more thing, which is that Sheena admitted that she's disappointed. I guess Sheena gets to go in the Valley news, guys. I've just conceded. I can't even like deal with. I guess this is Vanderpump Rules news. I don't know. She is disappointed that Stassi didn't post about her book, and she even wonders if Lisa Vanderpump had something to do with it. Okay. So, leading up to talking about her disappointment, she's discussing like the whole thing with Peter and how Lisa might have played a part with Peter kind of being like, I hate everyone from Vanderpump Rules. Lisa's the only one who deserves respect, blah, 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 like whatever he tweeted. Um, because, you know, this was after Sheena had kind of like called out Lisa for, you know, launching her reality TV empire using Sheena's affair with Eddie. You know, and then he tweeted being like, she made them all famous, which I mean, he's not wrong. I have to say that. Okay. So Sheena also says that maybe, you know, she pushed Peter to kind of publicly tweet that and to defend her, and that maybe she also pushed Stassi to stay silent because, as we know, Stassi's been involved in Vanderpump Villa, and her and Lisa seem to be having a relationship again. So yeah, I guess that's what Sheena's alleging. Or also maybe Stassi just has never liked you that much, and maybe it's not like her job to promote your book. Like what? Like, I don't know. I was gonna say, did Sheena promote all of Stassi's books? Probably the first one, but the ones that Stassi did like kind of like a year or so after she got canceled for the whole faith thing, I guarantee you Sheena didn't share that one. I just Well, I don't guarantee you, maybe she did, but I would be surprised if Sheena would put herself up to that type of scrutiny from the public, but I don't know. Anyways, I think Sheena's reaching maybe a little here, but who knows? Even if Lisa did, like, who cares? You've been trashing Lisa in the press. So yeah, she's going to come back at you. Like, you can't like cry victim now. Okay. I'm sorry. Let's go to some Summer House news. I miss Summer House. It has not even been over that long. Like, like I think about it, I'm like, oh, it just kind of ended like a couple months ago. And I'm already like, I miss you, Summer House. I just love, I don't know why, I just love Summer House. But they'll be back. I think it's because I always miss them this time of year because I know they're filming. So it's just like, it's almost like you can smell it in the air, like Summer House is filming. Like, ooh, it's coming. I can feel the vibes all the way from New York. Okay. However, the time that I really Jones for Summer House is always when we're like deep into the winter. That's when I'm like, okay, give me some Summer House. Like I need something to lift my spirits, please, please. Okay. So we do have something to tide us over till it returns because Bravo and Cocktails is reporting a blind about Danielle on Summer House saying She's a mess. Okay. Here it is. Summer house subject, summer house homewrecker. The former summer house girl is a homewrecker. Yes. Lindsay's former BFF, the guy she's with, and finally posted his face because before that it was just his arm. Well, he's my friend's husband and they've been having an affair. She's known he's been married since they started in the spring. He's Irish and is in the hospitality industry. They are now getting divorced since the Summer House alum loves to splatter her life all over social media. And we found out through that. Biggest pick me energy I've ever seen in my life. And she's almost 40. Oh my God. Now, it is a rumor until proven true. So allegedly, allegedly. However, there is an Instagram story with his face, or at least some of his face, unless this was edited. But you can see like a chunk of his face, I guess, that I'm assuming Danielle shared because you can tell like she's taking kind of the selfie video or picture, whatever it is. And, you know, this was posted and it does seem like there's someone in it. And now people are saying this is someone's husband. I don't know. And that there's been other videos where like you can just see his arm or whatever. I would not I would not be surprised. Let's not forget that Danielle was also dated Gabby's ex, who he was in a relationship for a long time. Now Gabby handled that like a true girl's girl, which she is, which is that, she blamed the guy that was cheating on her and not Danielle. And again, Danielle says she didn't know that he was in a relationship with Gabby. I don't know whether she did or not, but you know, listen, it is the person's fault who's in the relationship. They are the one who's cheating, but you can also kind of, as a woman as well, on you, just to take a little bit of accountability, you can do a little bit of research and, you know, maybe ask some questions. Are you single? Like, I don't know, like try to suss out these guys a little bit more. And, if you do truly not know and he's good at hiding it, which many guys are, then fine, it's not your fault. It's his fault. But if you know, then you have to take some of the blame. Okay. He's still more to blame, but you also need to take some of it because you knew. And you should be saying no, thank you to the married person. Fuck off, basically. But do I believe Danielle would not say fuck off because I don't know, she wants a guy so bad in her life and because of her level of insecurity? Yeah. Yeah, I do. I do think Danielle is the type who would hook up with a married guy and not necessarily care that he's married. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. I just think that that's her personality. So, okay. Anyways, meanwhile, rumors are also swirling that Lindsay is getting a spinoff starting filming on September 1st. Now, some videos and kind of like boots on the ground footage has been filmed at a New York bar where Summer House was filming. And I saw in one of them, Lindsay was there. I saw Kyle and Amanda as well. But yeah, there is this rumor going around that Lindsay's getting a spinoff and that it's going to be filming in September. The rumor comes from Bravo and Cocktails. This is alleged. I don't have like guaranteed facts, but apparently this is happening. So we'll see. I also saw that Lindsay is once again hanging out with Aaron from former Real Housewives of New York, Aaron. So they've been hanging out. And just recently, Lindsay posted a whole bunch of pictures of like stuff she's been doing the last month. And one of them was her and Aaron with Aaron's son. So there you go. I don't know. I don't know what's happening, but Lindsay knows what she's doing. She's angling. Love that for her. Get yourself on TV in as many ways as possible. Because quite frankly, I would like to watch it. Because listen, Lindsay is always, if nothing else, she is entertaining always. Okay, let's talk about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. The trailer has come out, and every single season since Jen Shaw left, every single season I'm like, can they do it again? Like can they, like, ever since season 4, I've been like, can these ladies really like top, not even top, but just match that, whatever again? I just don't know if they can do it. And, the trailer comes, and I'm always nervous, is this gonna be the flop season? And no, I can tell just from the trailer that this is not gonna be a flop season. These women just never rest. Their level of insanity is, like, unmatched. Like, Salt Lake City is just the personalities are perfect. They really are just a perfect, and boy, do they know how to do a newbie most of the time. Like, they again, when they were kind of not good at it was, again, during the Jen Shaw years, and I still argue and will die on this hill. The first 3 seasons of Salt Lake City were okay at best. They were okay. They weren't bad, they were okay. But I think a lot of times with a lot of shows, that's the case. It takes a while to really get, like, the momentum, and I do think Jen Shaw brought the show down, because everybody was scared of her, etcetera. But since she left, it is like these women have flourished, and they are continuing to flourish. Now, they were at the, Les Culturistas Awards and, um, had a few interesting things to say on the red carpet. So Lisa Barlow was asked about Angie K's high body count hair line and why that was so popular and what she thinks of its popularity. And Lisa basically says, "Oh, of course it went viral and was popular because she stole it from the gays, and the gays are the best." So clearly, Lisa and Angie are not in a good place, as we can tell. There is a picture from these awards where of the cast, and it is basically everyone on one side, body language towards each other, and then except for Heather and Lisa, who are facing towards each other, but away from the rest of the group. And it's pretty easy to see, you know, who's with who and what's going on, okay, with this cast. Like, they just really wear it on their sleeves. So that was what Lisa said. They emailed. Guys, what is wrong with me? They interviewed Heather. When asked if she'd be open to Jen Shaw returning, she made it clear that she does not speak to her. I really want us to stop asking about Jen Shaw returning. I want us to stop talking about it, stop asking the cast. Nobody wants her back. She doesn't deserve to come back. What she did was so disgusting, and she was found guilty of it and admitted to it. So just run along the show. And if the show was struggling and it was terrible, like, maybe I could entertain the conversation. Even then, I wouldn't be for it. But we don't need you. We don't need her. The show is just better than it's ever been, and it keeps getting better. So everybody shut up about Jen Shaw. That's what I ask, please. Okay. Meredith Marks says a lot of lies were told about her on the upcoming season of Salt Lake City. She says basically, a lot of lies about me were shared. So I don't really know what's happening. To be honest, I'm a little confused, but I'm sure it will be amazing TV. It was very crazy. I don't quite frankly understand 90% of it myself. So hard to tell you what's coming. There are a lot of lies about me um that that much I do know. Sorry, I got confused there. That much I do know, she says. I mean, that's Meredith every season. Everyone's lying about me, da da da. And yeah, some of it, sometimes they are. It's like, I'll give her that. But sometimes they're not. So I don't know. It's hard to say. Now, she also said when they asked who caused which duo she clashed with the most this season, her answer is, are you guys ready for this? Shitney 1 and Shitney 2. I don't even know. So does that mean, like, basically just just sorry, Whitney? Does that mean that Whitney's the only person she clashed with? And then she's just saying Shitney duo as, like, a joke, or is that Whitney and someone else? Like, when she first said it, I was, like, trying to, like, I was like, "Wait, is that, like, like, is that, like, a morphing of two people's names?" Like, that I'm just, is there somebody on the cast whose name starts with an SH? And then I went through the whole cast, I'm like, "No, there's no one." So she's just calling Whitney Shitney. And yeah, guys, I'm so dumb. Like, my brain is on break. It took me a while to put it together that it was just Whitney. I just Oh my god. See, this is why I don't care how annoying Meredith can be, how much of a Karen she can be sometimes. I don't care if whenever people call for her to be fired, I'm like, you're an idiot. Anyone who calls for Meredith to be fired is not a Real Housewives fan and needs to go away. Meredith is wrong all the time. Meredith can be terrible all the time. Meredith can sometimes have her moments where she's just sitting there staring and not bringing anything. I don't care. It's all worth it for when she does bring moments. She is a perfect housewife. And if you don't see that, you need to watch something else. I don't know what else to say. Okay. It will premiere on September 16th, by the way. And one of the things that I am the most excited for is the Below Deck Salt Lake City mashup that we're going to be getting. So Daisy from Below Deck has confirmed that she's moved over to Below Deck Down Under, and the RHO SLC cast was their first charter guest. Love it. I'm excited in so many ways as an SLC fan. My husband is a huge Below Deck fan, so now we can unite over this. And Salt Lake City is one of the only franchises that he'll entertain. And by the way, one of the reasons that he will watch Salt Lake City with me is because of Meredith, because he finds just her so crazy and funny, like the way she talks. So I'm just saying, Meredith brings things to the entertainment value of this show. So I hope that we get a full Salt Lake City episode of this trip, multiple, and I hope we get full Below Deck. Like, I want it to be like we get to see from both their perspectives, like the server perspective and the guest. Like, I think that's brilliant. I can't believe they haven't done it before. It's a beautiful thing, really. Like, this is like the golden age of Salt Lake City. Let's just go with it. Okay, what other news do we have? We talked about Summer House, Valley. Oh yeah, Beverly Hills. Um, so Dorit was seen shopping. Okay, and she's filming for Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And she's holding two large orange Hermes bags. But fans were quick to call out that the bags looked old. And they call, as the headline says, fakery. Because if you look at the bags, yeah, you can tell that these bags were reused bags. And listen, if you are going to Hermes and you are buying things, the bags are going to be perfect. Your new bags are going to be new. Okay. And these are not like, when they give you a shopping bag with your purchase and the item they put in was like a little too big for it, so it widens. No, this is just like they are like thin and whatever, and the creases and everything are just all like fucked up. And yeah, they look reused. Listen, even if she bought something, she'll be returning it tomorrow. Okay, let's all be honest. So that was one thing. Um, we also have Erica Jane confirming that she did film with Denise Richards and Sutton Strack. So that is exciting, and I'm excited to see Denise back on the show. I'm hearing that she may have like an official kind of friend of role, which makes sense. I wouldn't expect her to be full time coming into the season at this point. Um, Meanwhile, Denise did put up a video just today, actually, addressing, you know, her divorce and just thanking fans for the support. And she said, basically, I've had a really rough summer and, things have not been going well. And she said, I'm going through a divorce, but she said that she's gotten like so many messages of support and everyone has been really supportive, and she's really touched and moved by everyone's messages and, just thanks everyone. So that was nice to see as well. So yeah, it looks like, things are chugging along. I do think, I am interested to see that. I haven't seen much come out about Beverly Hills that I'm like, that's really piquing my interest, which, yeah, I don't know. That shows a little bit like, I don't know. It needs something. It's a little bit on life support for me. So I don't know. Okay. Meanwhile, in just some like kind of general Bravo news, Brandy Glanville posted a tweet the other day and said, an adult male who talked to my boys on Skype literally said to me, Mama Bear, your boys are so hot. When do they turn 18? Somebody replied, and said, "Why are adult strangers talking to your minor kids on Skype?" And Brandy said, "Not a stranger, my boss." Now, this may be confusing to you because Brandy is unemployed. So, like, what boss? Also, her kids are not, are, as far as I know, I believe that they are no longer minors. But then she clarified, or it was clarified that this was like from like a long time ago, like 10 years ago or 15 years, whatever. So people are now like, okay, so she's talking about a Skype with Andy, probably Andy 10, 15 years ago. Like, I don't know. I'm tired, Brandy. It's like, how am I supposed to take, like, do I think that Andy would say that on a Skype call to Brandy about her sons? Yes, I do. Do I think that Andy enjoys younger men, you know, whatever they call it, guys in their 20s or whatever? Yes, I do. Um, do I think that Brandy is putting this out now, just kind of in sort of backlash to everything that has gone down with her with the whole Bravo situation and them not releasing the footage and her being accused of whatever, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and her losing job opportunity? Yes, 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 yes. So it's kind of like, were you really super offended by this comment? It's not an appropriate comment. It's a gross comment, but were you actually bothered by it? Or are you just bringing it up now because you're trying to get attention? I don't know. I don't know what the motive is behind it. It doesn't really matter. That shouldn't be said in the first place, but it does seem just like these random things fly out of her mouth. And as many people have pointed out, it's like, are you trying to distract from your own allegations of sexual assault, which you've been accused of? So I don't know. Okay. But anyways, last other piece of Bravo news on Jeff Lewis Live, MJ from Shaws of Sunset, which has not been on the air for a while, but we're going to be getting back the Valley Shaw's edition. That's not what it's called because I can't remember right now. Oh, what was it called? Was it like Persian Shaws or not Persian Valley or something like that? I can't remember, but I'm excited for it. I'll say that because Shaws of Sunset I loved, and I was so mad that that stupid, disgusting Mike Shoehead guy ruined it and just was a gross abuser and should never be on TV again. So, I mean, I was glad it was canceled for that reason because that guy should never have been on TV. It also got a little too toxic towards the end, so I do think they kind of needed like a refresh and some time off. But apparently, MJ claims that Gigi hooked up with both Shep and Captain Jason at past BravoCons. Yeah, I believe this because um, I remember I'm having a memory from, it was either like a BravoCon or an interview where Gigi was saying like her and Shep are like good friends and they're really close, and Gigi's all about that, like, I don't have, like, wasn't she like something where you don't have like a committed relationship, like, what's it called? Polyamorous or something like that. That could be the wrong, I'm sorry guys, I'm an idiot. I don't know. That could be the wrong term, but I do think that there was something like that. So I do, like, listen, good for her. I don't know. Like Shep, I, not that much of a win to me. Captain Jason, more of a win. So I think Captain Jason really got busy at the last BravoCon. Holy shit. He was living it up. Like, he was like, my God. He was all over the place. Oh my God. So funny. Okay. Oh shoot. I forgot to include one last thing. Okay, sorry. I do have one piece of Atlanta news that I forgot to mention earlier. So, Portia Williams' $7 million mansion has been hit with a lien over her ex-husband's six-figure debt. So basically, her mansion was hit with a six-figure lien because her ex-husband, Simon Gobadia, failed to pay his divorce lawyer. The court documents state that Gobadia owes $205,844 for services on his divorce from Portia. Crazy. And basically on June 10th, Simon Gobadia's divorce lawyer filed an attorney's lien against Simon and Portia's 5-bedroom, 8-bathroom, 15,000 square foot Georgia home worth an estimated $7.3 million. So this is the home that Portia currently lives in, and she was awarded possession of it in the divorce. But yeah, the lien says that Simon owes all this money. And Portia recently listed her Duluth, Georgia house for sale that her mother, Miss Diane, had previously lived in. So she listed that for sale for $1.8 million, and is currently living in the $7.3 million house. So definitely rich people problems, but I'm not surprised at this because this was the same thing I was saying when people were celebrating about like Portia being awarded, I don't know, what was it? $30,000 a month in like, spousal support or alimony, whatever it was from her divorce. I'm like, he's not going to pay it. He's in Nigeria. He's already been deported. How are you going to enforce this? No one over there is going to arrest a rich guy like him for not paying his wife in the US that he was doing. That's not going to happen. It's just nothing makes sense. And then it's like, I could also see, like, I don't know what he's going to do about this house or whatever, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's not paying for that either. Because there's a part of me that's like, why would he? I guess unless he's like really thinking he's going to get to come back to the States or something one day. I don't know. But anyways, I don't think Portia's going to be seeing any money anytime soon. And now, if anything, she's almost going to be having to pay for his messes that he left over in the US because now he's deported and he's like, fuck it, I'm not paying for stuff that she's using. Like that's just that's just the unfortunate truth of the situation. This Borgia's choice to marry this man may be on the list, maybe the number one on the worst decisions that she's made. Like worse than Cordell, like I think this worse than like I think this was her worst decision in relation to men. And yeah, I know there's a lot of people that are like, well, that's your karma for going for married men. It's I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know. Okay. Anyways, let's end off there. Wishing you all a fantastic weekend. And again, for those of you that are Patreon subscribers, I will speak to you soon with my OC Miami recaps. And everyone else, I will talk to you next week. And you are now in the know for everything Bravo. See you next time. Thanks for listening, everyone. Your support really means everything to me. And this show wouldn't be possible without you, the listeners. So please, if you enjoy the podcast, leave a 5-star rating and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. For more, you can join my Patreon, patreon.com/Bravo and Botox. And for $5 a month, you'll get 4 extra podcast episodes a month. You'll also get early releases of Bravo Paper episodes and more. Please also subscribe to my YouTube channel at The Bravo Papers and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, at Bravo and Botox, and at The Bravo Papers. If you'd like to buy me a coffee, you can at buymeacoffee.com/Bravo and Botox. Send your love through some much needed caffeine. And any guest that was on today's episode will be in the show notes, all their social media and contact information. So thank you so much, everyone. Keep overanalyzing Bravo.